Hello, everybody, and welcome to this. What's up? All right,
I'm so
so
excited.
let's recap last session because it was an interesting one. It really was. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's recap last session.
Who are you gonna pick on this time?
Oh, nobody. I'm just gonna say that things happened. Let's see. You guys traded in your quest. You were given some gems. You got on your boat and started sailing. Happy with how you had succeeded your how you had. Well, you got paid. And then you heard some weird buzzing noise, and after investigating, you're like, "Wow, I wonder if these gems are gonna blow up." And let's just keep holding them. And then the gems blew up while you're still holding them. It took out a good portion of the ship. It was only kept continuing to float because of magical items on the ship that are designed to make that happen, to make it continue floating. A stallboard was blown into itty bitty bitty bits. And what's her name? Kieran got thrown off the boat and unconscious. Wright got thrown off the boat and unconscious. Luca, in nothing but his skivvies and a shield, was able to save the day for two of them. And then Magic saved Stalbor, which is nice. It was the power of the tome that was gifted to him by he believes to be the elders of Aranel. Anyways, and after that, you guys went to the closest port that you can get your way to, fought with pretty much everybody that has any form of authority there. It was all Kieran, but y'all fought with them. And then Kieran continued to fight with literally everybody else afterwards. Luca threw some sort of ultimatum on the table. She's like, fuck off. And he did. And that was pretty much the end of the session. Oh yeah, there was also like a teary-eyed moment for a little bit there where Karen was really welling up and having that conversation with, I believe, Reich and Stalwar at the end. All right, so let's pick up.
That's right.
We're not going to pick up the next day because I imagine the next day is going to be people are hungover. There's little bits of shame and whatnot. Realistically, no answers can be had the immediate next day. So we're actually going to pick up like a full 36 hours later. And I also imagine that a lot of you guys have had a good amount of time. Please correct me if you feel very vehemently otherwise. You've spent a little bit of time to yourselves, whether if it was blowing off steam, being self-contemplative, or back in a bar. 36 hours later is where we'll pick it up. So, no big hangovers unless you specifically say, I want to have one. We're going to bring the camera, to start off, immediately over to Stalbor. Stalbor, it's the morning. You had spent the night on the ship. What's left of it. You and Kieran are both spending the nights on the ship. You had already finished your morning duties. I mean, you don't sleep. So you have already done your studies for the day, and you're kind of like getting your morning started. Where do you go? What do you do?
I try and find Luca.
Okay. Luca, were you spending your nights on the ship or no?
Yeah, I probably would spend it on the ship because I don't have like money to stay anywhere else really. So
Okay.
I was on the ship, locked in my room alone.
Okay. Your room is in all sorts of disarray.
Yeah,
36
it's
hours.
still in disarray.
Okay. And
He's got
so
a bunch of snacks in beforehand. Locked himself in.
and so you stay inside your
I know how to
your
feel
room
it.
for the evenings. And so you go to Luca.
I go and I open the door.
Hello, Luca.
Hey, Stalbor.
It's a beautiful day. Well, it's not. Still.
I'll just nod to that.
You want to do anything today?
Yeah.
Work on your magic. We can work on
Yeah.
the ship.
Let's get off the ship and work on some magic.
I imagine we head off probably into the forest.
Stalbor, did you hear that? There's some
Sorry.
type of animal.
So
I would
sorry.
also, before we leave, like, I'd tell Luca to go on ahead, and then I would very quickly pop into Kira to be like, I'm gonna be in the town. You need me.
You know what
So
happens?
she knows.
Kieran felt bad that Reich's, warg died, so she
Aw,
got
I
him
got
a
my little
puppy.
puppies.
Yeah.
Aww.
Reich
He
eats it.
wouldn't appreciate that.
Reich
I was
eats the
so
puppy.
thinking that. He's like,
Like a
oh,
standard
because
Oh, thank you. Just takes a bite of its head.
Like a proper pet.
Oh.
And it's also a 3-pound
Yeah.
dog.
Look, it takes up so much less room on the ship now.
It's gonna need less food. It's gonna need less water.
It's
It's just a better one in every way, honestly, right? Really, we
Do you
get-
realize that my mount? It was a mount I was riding, right?
Now we can ride you. Let's carry it.
Whoa.
Hey, I did get an extra 5 feet of speed this level, so I don't want to brag or nothing.
All right. So you and Luca step off the ship to have a little bit of magi casty. Okay, go ahead.
So go somewhere like off to the side of the town, somewhere quiet. And I'm like filling up like more of Odette's spellbook, because that's the spellbook I have right now, and adding more and more of my spells to it. So actually, I'd basically be walking Luca through the process when as much as he cares, also just chatting shit most of the other time. But it'd be one of those things where it's like, Stalborn thinks that Luca has something to talk about, which is why he wanted to go off with.
Yeah. So first,
he's prompting.
yeah, the first like few times that you prompt, Luke is just like, oh yeah, so that spell, like show me that again. Like he just like ignores the fact that you prompted it and gets back. But like after maybe like the fourth or fifth time that you're like, you're like more blatant about it, I would imagine eventually. So then he's just like, Style boy, I just don't know what we're doing here.
We're fixing the ship. Well, directly here, or
You know what I mean, Style boy.
like getting the ship fixed because it blew up.
Yeah. I mean, following our fearless leader into battle, he says with a sarcastic face.
Well, you know better than anyone. I used to think that this conspiracy was just the words of a madman, but considering goings on, I think it might just be real.
I'm not questioning whether the conspiracy is real or not. I actually think that there's definitely something going on. It's just, you can see I'm torn. I want to go save my brother. That's my priority. It really is. I want to help as much as I can along the way, but saving my brother is my priority. I'm just questioning whether I am doing the right thing being here in order to save my brother.
You're not going to try and leave, are you, Luca? You're not gonna make me choose between you and Kieran.
I would never do that.
Good.
I don't plan to leave because while I seem to be ranting and rambling, I've come to the decision that I still wouldn't be better off to save my brother anywhere else. So I will be here, but I'm not very happy about it, Stalbor. I'm not.
Hey, if you ever need to vent, I'm here. But, you know, running away and solving other problems, that used to be what I did, you know. If I owed someone too much money, or one time in Shan, a health potion was meant to cure a crime lord and it didn't work properly and my head was wanted removed from my body. Running away was my solution, but you're the one that taught me that, you know, when there is a big problem, you're meant to stand up to it, and if you're not strong enough to stand up to it, you make yourself strong enough. So
Luca
I
would
think
nod
this
to that.
is one of those situations.
Luca nods. He's like, "That's fine." And honestly, Stalbor, you are one of the best friends that I've ever had. Reich, he's an amazing companion. He's always helped. And then he like goes to say Kieran, but he like doesn't fully. He's like, he like lets out a big sigh, and he's like, I just don't see. I have nothing. If you can't say nothing nice, and then
Maybe that's for the best for you. I don't know.
He'll-
I happen to be
nod.
partial to Kieran.
I thought I was becoming partial, but it just seems every time I'm finding myself more and more partial to her, it just all just comes tumbling down, and I'm sick of the emotional roller coaster.
I think I like the emotional roller coaster, to be honest. Reminds me I'm alive. Reminds me of better times.
He'll nod to that, and then like he'll like look over at your spell book, like, oh, have you replaced all your spells yet? Kind of like changing the
Not
subject.
Replaced all of them. In fact, I had a couple of other things, and he like finishes drawing one circle, and the white pages of the spell book like are bleached and inky black. The
Mhm.
blue magic goes to red. And he's like, I think I've made a little bit of progress. Don't have time to look backwards, even though I'll outlive you all. Time to look forwards.
He'll nod and he'll say, "Well, if I have anything to do with it, you certainly will." And what should we get? Do we need things in town? Should we go buy things?
I don't think either of us have money.
I have some. He pulls out. How much do I have?
Actually, that's a point. We're stuck
25
here for
gold pieces.
We're stuck here for the ship to be done.
Yeah,
Why don't we work? Why don't we make a little bit of spending money?
we could do that.
You can brew some potions. You can lift some heavy things. Old ladies.
He'll nod to that. You actually see a smile. Like he's been pretty serious for this whole time, but you'll see like an actual smile on his face when you say that.
I mean, if we ever need the lightning rail again, we'll need to work a whole bunch. So yeah, I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, that was expensive.
And then I imagine that's what we start
Yeah.
and off and doing.
Okay. So you guys start doing little bits of aid here and there to try to like get some work done. Try to help out while you're waiting for the ship to be fixed. The ship who's not even currently set up to be fixed yet. You don't really have, aside from the crew working on it to get it, seaworthy enough. It's not like you have the means. There's not like a big ship right here that you can afford to get the job done. You know what I mean? So that being said, Kieran, what are you doing in this meantime?
I actually have a few things I need to do in waiting back from the letters I had sent out. Which, by the way, do you want to make a favor roll for that? I forgot there was something I could do.
Oh, yeah.
In my background. Just to hurry that along.
Oh yeah, Scott. I actually meant to message you that I wanted to send a letter. So I'll get to that.
Very
eventually,
sorry
too.
about the puppy.
Release
We're in a
him.
pinch.
She hasn't seen me all day.
9 plus what? 3?
I
Is
feel
it?
bad. I think it's 3, but I'm just trying to check. Penny.
And
He's got a puppy
and
tail.
this in particular letter was the one too, because you sent 3. So which one is this?
What was that?
Which letter is this?
It doesn't matter. I'm sending one to Halabar and sending one to Kaladin.
And the letter is to actually get the task, like to get the guy to actually send them for you expedited, as opposed
Well,
to.
for Halabar, I want him to come and help us potentially.
Gotcha.
Depending on what we decide to do, he could just take because we can't leave the remaining crew here.
You just pissed him off, and now you're asking for help again.
I know.
That's weird.
Well, at the very least, like I don't care if he helps me or not, but he needs to get like the rest of the members of House Leander out here.
Mhm.
That's what it comes down to, and that is like actually like his job potentially. So yeah, plus 3, so that's a 12.
Okay.
And then I'm sending one to Kaladin to let him know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And whatnot. And I'm gonna hold off on contacting Avon House Camp until we can talk with the party. But in addition to all that, since we have a day, I also need to assess the damage of the ship, and I need to count losses and figure out how to contact their next of kin as well.
Okay.
So-
So as for contacting Kaladin, don't forget you take a penalty for the second time that you roll the roll. You just don't get your bonus to it. And I think there's a plus because you get your proficiency bonus, which is what, a 3 at this level. Plus you
Yep.
have 1 for your
Dragon
mark.
mark.
So it's
It's plus
4.
4.
So it's a 13. And then you're going to be rolling this one without your proficiency bonus. So it's going to be roll a d20 plus 1. Oh! And that was one to Kaladin, right?
Hmm.
Okay, well, dear uncle.
Your
Help.
uncle!
Help.
Sorry about your ship. Well, also, like, yeah, but, like, House Camp fucked us over.
Of
Sorry
course.
about your ship. It blew up because House County for assholes.
Of
They
course.
put a bomb on our ship.
It's very appropriate that you're like, hey, uncle, it's your favorite niece. And you're rolling that at 20. You know what I mean?
Right?
Okay, and then were you going to try to do the third one as well or no?
Not yet, no, because I don't know if I want to contact House Camp about this. I don't think I want to give him a heads up.
Okay. And then you wanted to assess the damage of the ship. Again,
Yep.
more or less, with the supplies that you have on the ship, it would take your crew a month to get this thing floating by themselves. Now,
Yeah.
if you wanted to spend monies, you could get the ship put back together in tip-top shape so that you can, in good enough shape much, much, much faster. But the issue is, like, your gold got blown into the ocean. Most of your
Yeah.
mundane goods got blown into the ocean. And I think, like, one of your rings got blown into the ocean, too. Whereas, like, everything else is fine.
Oh, which ring was it? You've been deleting stuff on my character sheet.
Oh, I know which one. No. I know which one it was. The one that Stalbor had in his pocket.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's the one from Dane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the one saw
That
stuff in
happened.
his pocket. Now, something like that can be located with
It'll
locate
be like the
object.
end of
when you're
Captain
over in that
America, where
area.
they're in the ship. They're in the ship in the ocean, and they have the grabby arm, and they're like, "We found it after all these years."
Oh, jeez.
It is like a super powerful like relic item. So
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So that's the one that's missing. But most of your stuff is there, which is fine. So assessing the damage of the ship, which takes you that full day that you spent yesterday doing. That's what you come to terms doing. So it's gonna cost you probably about $2,000 to get this thing back up in the next week or so. Get a whole bunch of shipwrights working on it and everything. But you just don't have that, do you? Or at least something that you could trade for that.
no, and House Camp's paying for it.
Well, that's what you believe, but. But there is House Kundarark member here. Remember I had mentioned that? So there is somebody that you can contact to take a loan out.
That's true. So we'll figure that out later.
Okay. And if that's pretty much what you're focused on, then I can turn to Reich.
Yep.
Reich, what are you doing?
So, I've been spending the last couple days just trying to get my head right, so to speak. I've obviously noticed the different sort of feelings I've had since our encounter with snake-like dude in the middle of the forest, and being so cognizant of my own mental faculties, I would take this time actually to spend the time off the ship, because I do have a little bit of money, and get a room and just meditate, try to pull the pieces of my mind together, as well as fool around with these newfound abilities I've found myself being able to use.
Okay.
And after a couple of days of just getting my head on straight, I would head out to the to see what the others are up to.
Okay. You'd see that Kieran's kind of taking care of the ship being repaired, and the other two have been more or less lending themselves out for work to make a little bit of money for themselves. Kieran, did you choose to take a loan against the bank?
I was hoping to hear back from people.
Nah, not that quickly, because you're not
Not that
using
quickly?
because you
Yeah.
have no means of instant transportation because you're in Kabara, and there's
You know,
really
I
no
will.
outpost for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will.
So we're gonna RP that first. You go to House Kundarark. Now, House Kundarark is the banking house of dwarves. Dwarves in this world keep their beards much like how I keep mine, much, much, much shorter and very well cropped. They don't keep these big, long, gnarly beards generally. Now, there are the dwarves that live under the mountains and whatnot that are a bit more traditional, but the House Kundarark dwarves generally keep things short and clean, cropped and everything, right? Very businesslike. So, when you approach House Kundarark and you go to meet with one of the members, this area here, it's not like there's this huge vault or anything like that with like lots of gold bars sitting inside of it. Oh, all these like caches. No, nothing like that. It's literally like an office. You go in and there's a secretary that's sitting there. He's sitting there and he's a younger dwarf, and he's like happy to be working in the office and whatnot. And behind his desk is a small hallway that has 4 other offices in it where you can like have a seat and wait to meet with one of the people that are available. And at the end of that is the room where they file all their paperwork. That's kind of like how it's set up inside of here. All their parchments and scrolls and tomes and whatnot is back there. Mm-hmm. So when you come in, you're like, I would like to have a meeting with blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, do you have an arrangement set up? And you're like, no, but I'm blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? But they, whatever the case may be, they give you a meeting. There's no question. You're a dragon marked person. They give it to you. Mm-hmm. So after a bit of a wait that's sitting there, and I imagine Karen does so ever so patiently, eventually one of the... he's like, let you know, he's like, Fulstead would be more than happy to meet with you. If you go to the second door on the right.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into the room, and as you go into the room, much like when you walk into an H&R Block and you meet the tax person, they're just like waiting in the doorway to shake your hand. And so they as you go walking towards the door, he shakes your hand. It's like, the name's Fulstead, and you are Kieran de Lirindar?
Yes.
Please come in. Let me shut the door.
Mm.
You guys go inside, you shut the door, and immediately after you shut the door, he taps something on the door, and you see like this triangular-shaped device on the door turns slightly and glows just for like a flash. It's like a quick little moment. It's not like bright. It's a quick little moment, and all of a sudden the room feels a lot quieter than it did before. And he's like, please, have a seat. Would you like a drink while we discuss, or do you not?
I'll pass. Thank you.
He nods and walks over and waits till you sit.
Is it?
Okay. Is there like a long awkward pause while he's waiting and you're like, oh, he's waiting?
I would just tell him the story of what happened, how we got here.
Sure.
Very aggravatedly.
Sure. He sits down and you tell the story and he listens to the entire thing. He's like, that's quite the tale. And I imagine that you are taking out a loan for the reconstruction of your boat.
Yes.
Now, I do have to ask you this, and when he says this, he actually grabs a small stone, and he slides it out between you guys, and he taps the stone with one finger, and it starts to glow ever so slightly. Kieran de Lirindar, the monies that you're going to be borrowing from House Kundarark is going to be for the reparations of your ship and perhaps the patching of up of your crew and the replacing of some of your equipment, correct?
Yes.
You'll be using this for other means that you find to be necessary and lawful, correct?
Yes.
You will not be using any of these monies to enact any form of vengeance up to and including murder, correct?
Correct.
You understand that you have been recorded in this contract, and that if you were found to be against this, that you will be held before the 12 tribunal.
Yep.
Thank you. He taps it again. The thing stops glowing, and he slides it back off to the side, where he sees that he has a bunch of paperwork or whatever sitting there. Well, Kieran, how much was it that you were hoping to borrow from us? You told me from the damages for the assessment, you need at least 2,000 to get your ship underway and quickly so. I'd be more than happy to part with that for you. We, of course, checked your lineage. You are certainly good for the amount of money that you're asking for. Would you need more than that?
No, I don't believe so.
It's just the 2,000.
Yes.
Okay. Understand this. The 2,000 comes with a entirety of 1 month, with there being 0 interest on this. Now, of course, everything after that, there will be a 5% interest applied to the loan for every month after that. The remaining interest will not be on the principal of the loan. This is the first time that you've taken a loan from us. So be on the original amounts taken. 5% on that, not the principal.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. So,
Jesus Christ, we sent the chaotic character to get the loan.
He's like, perfect. And that will be applied, of course, every month thereafter. Do you have any questions about this?
Nope.
I intend to give you this money in the form of Kundarark writs. I will put it to you in 2 writs for 1,000. Of course, you know how to handle the signings thereafter.
Yeah, but if it explodes, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Okay. Well, if what explodes, I'm sorry.
The Ritz. There's a can of gems. Never mind. It's fine. It was a joke.
I'm sorry. I'm not here to joke. I'm here to handle the finances.
I get it. I get it.
All right. Well, then if you just sign here, yep, here, of course, here, and then right over here. And do you have your signet?
Yes.
Okay. Can you press that here? Could you sign over here? Now, Kieran, could you please push your hand on the Kyber shard right there, please?
Yep.
Yep. And can you just say your name aloud? And your next of kin aloud.
Yep. I'll do that.
Okay. He's like, perfect. Thank you very much. Can you sign here?
Yep.
And then can you sign here?
Jesus. Fine.
Then I just need you to sign at the bottom of these 2 right here.
Yep.
Awesome. And then I just need to borrow your identification so I can do the rest of the paperwork.
Here you go. Into the paperwork.
Takes it, and he spends about another 45 minutes filling things out. Can you sign here for me?
Yep.
Perfect. He hands you a scroll. He hands you one scroll case. Says inside here are the 2 individual writs, each of them worth 1,000 gold pieces, and of course, standard Galifarian coin.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hands them to you and says, "May the gods watch over you, and your coin be spent well."
Yep. All the gods. Cool.
And he gets up. He walks around your desk. I'm sure you're brimming to get out of there, but he walks around and he opens up the door for you and gives you like a... He's stoic, but a little smile. And you walk out.
I tried to return it back.
Yep.
It's like a grimace.
And
Physically painful.
and you walk out. You walk out the door. Do you head immediately over to the shipwrights and just spend all of it at once?
I mean, yeah.
Do you want to try to barter it at all?
Yeah.
Okay. First thing I'm going to let you do for the bartering is I'm going to allow you to roll me your skill check for your ship, but it's not for sailing, so it's about repair, so you don't have advantage on this.
Okay.
So your vessels roll.
I don't have advantage for any of that anyway.
Oh, look at that. A 21. So actually, you understand that the damage and everything that was assessed, there are ways that you can cut corners, like places where you can not use soar wood, you can use more standard woods and whatnot. Sure, it'll impact the functionality of the ship, but it'll get it up running quicker and significantly cheaper. And if, you can certainly barter that point no problem and try to bring the cost down significantly. When you go in, you have your conversation with them, because you rolled a total of a 21, which is good.
If the maneuverability is going to be affected at all, I don't want to do that because we're already going into dangerous area.
Okay. Then you can just try to barter down the cost a little bit then.
Okay.
In which case I'm going to peel away. I was going to offer advantage. I'm going to peel that away. And you have just your normal roll. Now remember, everybody, you all did...
What do you want me to roll?
This is going to be a charisma check or a persuasion check. Everybody, just a reminder, you did level up, so all of your action points were reset. Okay? And then I believe it was... Luca and Wright got one on top of whatever the reset was. Kieran, that is fucking amazing. I imagine your persuasion was borderline intimidation as well. But you were actually extremely persuasive, and you were able to bring the cost of the repairs of the ship down to only 1,600 gold pieces.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yep, leaving you with 400 gold pieces left in the writ.
We go spending money.
Okay, which I think is actually more than you lost. So.
Well, out of that 400, I'm probably gonna have more letters sent out to the next of kin of those who passed away. So, let me know how much that costs as well.
Sure. Do you want to actually try to contact that gnome? Because last time he kind of was like, piss off.
Yeah, if I have to.
Okay. Do you want to try to contact the gnome with anybody else involved or by yourself? You've thus far been by yourself.
I'll bring Rick along with me.
Okay.
Because he was the one who wanted me to apologize.
Sure. So you go and eventually you're able to find Reich. Reich's been spending a lot of time walking along the outskirts of the city, taking in the sights there. He's spent a lot of time meditating in different areas and whatnot. He's just kind of like recentering himself. So honestly, when you see Reich, he seems a lot more at peace than he has been in a long time. Spending all that time on the ship just trying to learn how to be a part of the crew and whatnot has seriously stressed him out. Not that he can't handle it. It's just, it's physically uncomfortable with like the tossing and the turning of the boats, and then all the situations you guys are put in were just nothing that he knew how to handle, and so he was always trying to learn it. Now he's like, I've recentered myself. Bring me back on the boat. I can handle it. I'm ready to go at it again, sort of recharged. So when you see Reich more at peace. Oh, I gave you the names before. I think it was like 5.
You did. 5 people.
Was it 5 or 6? I gave you the names before. It was 5 or 6.
I think I wrote them down in the document.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you go and find Reich.